You probably think you know where you are right now, sitting in a chair, maybe, or standing in a room on Earth, at an address, in a city. You have coordinates. You have a location. But here's what you might not realize. That sense of place, that feeling of being somewhere specific, it's one of the most profound illusions your mind creates. Because in truth, you're not standing still at all. You're moving. Right now, as you read this, you're traveling through space at over 1 million miles per hour. And the place you think you're standing, it's not a place. It's a moment. A fleeting instant on a cosmic journey that never stops. We like to think we're anchored to something solid. We're not. We're passengers on a ship we barely understand, crossing an ocean we can barely imagine. Let me show you what I mean. Look at your hand for a moment. The same hand you've had your whole life. The one you use to hold things, to write with, to touch the people you love. That hand is resting on something. Maybe a table, maybe your lap. It feels solid, stable, but that stability is temporary. That table, that floor beneath you, the ground outside, all of it is part of a planet spinning at roughly 1,000 miles per hour. If you're standing at the equator, you're moving faster than the speed of sound right now, just from Earth's rotation alone. You don't feel it because everything around you is moving with you. The air, the trees, the buildings, all of it rotating together in this cosmic dance. But that's just the beginning. Earth isn't just spinning. It's also orbiting the sun at about 67,000 miles per hour. That's 18 miles every second. In the time it took you to read that sentence, you've traveled nearly 100 miles through space. And you felt nothing. No wind in your face, no sensation of motion. Because motion, true motion, is invisible when everything is moving together. And there's more. The sun itself, along with all its planets, all of us, is moving through the galaxy at roughly 500,000 miles per hour. The Milky Way, our entire galaxy, is falling toward the Virgo cluster at hundreds of thousands of miles per hour. We are in constant motion, perpetual, relentless, beautiful motion. And yet, sitting there, you feel perfectly still. That's the first thing to understand. Your senses lie to you about where you are and how fast you're moving. They have to. If you felt every motion, you couldn't function. So your brain filters it out, creates the illusion of stillness, of place, of home. But what if I told you there's a photograph that shatters that illusion completely? A single image that shows you exactly where you are, exactly how small your sense of place really is. Would you want to see it? On February 14th, 1990, a spacecraft called Voyager 1 did something remarkable. It was 3.7 billion miles from Earth. To put that in perspective, if you could somehow travel at the speed of a commercial airliner, it would take you about 750 years to reach where Voyager was. Nearly 30 human generations. Your great-great-great-grandchildren, many times over, would still be flying. Voyager had completed its mission. It had visited Jupiter and Saturn, sent back images of moons we'd never seen, discovered rings and storms and wonders beyond imagination. Now it was leaving, heading out into the space between stars, into the dark. And someone had an idea. A simple, almost poetic idea. Turn the camera around, one last time. Take a picture of home from the edge of the solar system, just to see what it looks like from out there. NASA resisted. Engineers said it was impractical. The Earth would be too small, maybe just a pixel, maybe less. The camera might be damaged pointing so close to the sunday. Why waste power and time on something that would show almost nothing? But Carl Sagan insisted. He understood something crucial. Sometimes the most important images are the ones that show how little there is to see. The camera turned. The shutter opened for a fraction of a second. And when the image came back, there it was. Earth. Or rather, there it almost wasn't. A pale blue dot. 1 pixel. 0.12 pixels, to be precise. Smaller than a grain of sand on your screen. Suspended in a beam of scattered sunlight, that tiny point of light, barely visible, easily missed if you weren't looking for it, that's us. That's home. Everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being who has ever existed, all of us, all of history, on that dot. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Of course, it looks small from that far away. If you zoomed in, you'd see continents, oceans, cities. You'd see the world as it really is. But here's what's interesting about that response. And here's where things get strange. The distance doesn't lie. The perspective is real. From out there, from the only truly objective vantage point we've ever had, we are exactly that small. A mote of dust in a sunbeam. And all our concerns, all our conflicts, all our certainties about our importance, they exist on that dot, only on that dot, nowhere else. Consider what that means for a moment. Every war ever fought, every king who ever claimed dominion over the earth, every conqueror who reshaped borders, every general who moved armies across continents, they were all fighting over fractions of that pixel. Every religion, every ideology, every certainty that claimed to know the ultimate truth, all of them emerged on that tiny point. Every act of love, every moment of cruelty, every parent watching a child sleep, every artist creating beauty, every tyrant inflicting suffering, all of it. All of it on a stage so small, you could cover it with your fingertip and never know it was there. Carl Sagan looked at this photograph and wrote something that, in my view, ranks among the most important paragraphs ever written. Let me share it with you, because his words capture something essential. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. He goes on, the aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Think about that for a moment. Not quickly. Actually think about it. Every person who has ever lived, every story, every triumph and tragedy, all on one dot. You think about your own concerns right now, your worries, your ambitions, the things that keep you awake at night. From 4 billion miles away, they don't register. Not because they don't matter to you. They do. They absolutely do. But because the universe doesn't distinguish between them and anything else happening on that pixel. The universe doesn't notice the difference between a king and a peasant, between a nation and a village, between your problems and mine. All of it exists on the same tiny stage. Now, and this is where it gets interesting. You might expect this perspective to be depressing. You might think, if we're that small, nothing matters. But something curious happens when you truly absorb this image. You don't feel meaningless. You feel connected. Because everyone is on that dot with you. All of us together. And suddenly the things that divide us, the borders, the ideologies, the hatreds, they start to seem arbitrary, unnecessary, almost absurd. Sagan understood this. He wrote, "Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that, in glory and triumph, they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner, how frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds." He's describing human history. But from this perspective, from this cosmic vantage point, it looks different. Not meaningless, but certainly smaller than we thought. Let me give you a sense of scale in another way. Imagine time as a calendar. The entire history of the universe, all 13.8 billion years, compressed into 1 year. January 1st, the Big Bang. The universe begins. For months, nothing but hydrogen and helium. Then in May, the Milky Way forms. September, our sun ignites. Late September, Earth appears. October, the first life, simple cells in ancient oceans. November, complex cells. December, plants, then animals. Dinosaurs appear on December 13th. They go extinct on December 26th. And humans, modern humans, with our art and language and civilizations, We appear on December 31st at 11:59 and 46 seconds p.m., 14 seconds before midnight. All of recorded history, everything we consider significant, happens in the last 14 seconds of the cosmic year. The pyramids are built 3 seconds ago. The Renaissance, 1 second. Your entire life, a fraction of a second. A blink. We just got here. We are, in cosmic terms, newborns. And yet we act as if we've always been here. As if we own the place. As if we understand how it all works. We don't. We're still figuring it out. And here's something else to consider, something that makes this photograph even more significant. We've been searching for decades now, listening to the cosmos, looking for signs of other life, other intelligence, other civilizations out there among the stars. We've pointed our telescopes at thousands of star systems. We've listened for radio signals, searched for patterns, anything that might indicate someone else is out there. And so far, we've found silence. Now, that doesn't mean we're alone. The universe is vast, and we've only searched a tiny fraction of it. But it does mean that life, intelligent life, might be rare, incredibly, unimaginably rare. Perhaps we're the only ones in our corner of the galaxy. Perhaps in the observable universe. We don't know yet. But if we are rare, if consciousness is a cosmic rarity, then this pale blue dot becomes even more precious, because it might be the only place where the universe has become aware of itself. Think about what that means. You are made of atoms, forged in the cores of ancient stars. When those stars exploded, they scattered their material across space. That material, over billions of years, coalesced into new stars, new planets. One of those planets was Earth. And on Earth, through processes, we still don't fully understand those atoms arranged themselves in such a way that they became alive. And then conscious, and then curious. You are the universe looking at itself, literally. The atoms in your body, trying to understand where they came from. That's not insignificance. That's extraordinary. But here's the part that should concern us. And Sagan was deeply concerned about this. He writes, "Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves." That sentence is crucial. No one is coming. There is no cosmic rescue mission. No advanced aliens waiting to solve our problems. No higher power that will intervene at the last moment. We are alone on this dot. And what we do here, how we treat each other, how we treat the planet itself, that's entirely up to us. We are responsible, not to some external authority, to each other, and to the dot itself, because here's what we've learned. This dot is fragile. The atmosphere, the thin layer of air that keeps us alive, you could drive through it in 5 minutes if your car could go straight up. 5 minutes. That's all that separates us from the vacuum of space. And we're changing it, warming it, filling it with gases that trap heat. We're running an experiment with the only laboratory we have. And if the experiment fails, there's no backup lab, no second Earth waiting in storage. This is it. Sagan studied Venus, a planet almost identical to Earth in size and composition. But Venus has a runaway greenhouse effect. The surface temperature is hot enough to melt lead. The atmospheric pressure would crush you instantly. That's what can happen when a planet's climate spirals out of control. It's a warning, a cautionary tale written in the geology of our sister world. And we're not paying attention. But I don't want to end on fear, because that's not what the pale blue dot is about. It's about perspective. It's about understanding. Sagan ends his reflection with this. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. Deal more kindly with one another. That's the message. Not because some authority demands it, not because there's a cosmic policeman watching, but because we're all here together, all of us, on this tiny, fragile, beautiful world, and there's nowhere else to go. Not yet, maybe not ever. When you look at the pale blue dot, When you really see it, borders disappear. Not literally, of course, but conceptually, you can't see them from space. They're invisible lines we drew on maps, and yet we kill for them, we die for them. We convince ourselves that this side of an invisible line is fundamentally different from that side. From 4 billion miles away, there are no sides. There's only the dot, one dot, and we're all on it. So what do you do with this knowledge? What does it mean to live with the pale blue dot perspective? It means you see other humans differently, not as strangers, not as enemies, but as fellow passengers. We're all on the same ship, crossing the same cosmic ocean. And if the ship fails, we all go down together. There are no lifeboats, no escape pods, just us in the dot. It means you look at the night sky differently. You see those distant stars not as decoration, not as background scenery, but as other suns, possibly with other worlds, possibly with other life, or possibly not. Possibly we're alone. Either way, it's profound. If we're alone, we're precious beyond measure. If we're not, we're part of something even larger than we imagined. Either answer is beautiful. Either answer should make us care about what happens here. It means you live with humility, because you understand your place, not in a degrading way, in an honest way. You are part of something vast and ancient. You are made of materials forged in stars that died billions of years ago. You are quite literally the cosmos experiencing itself. And that's not nothing. That's everything. But it's temporary. Your time on the dot is brief. What you do with that time, how you treat the other passengers, how you care for the ship, that's your legacy. That's your meaning. Not handed to you by the universe, created by you. Here, now, on this pale blue dot, Carl Sagan fought to get this photograph taken because he knew we needed it. He knew we needed to see ourselves from that perspective. From the outside, from a place so distant that our conflicts look absurd, our borders invisible, our certainties fragile. He knew that if we could see ourselves as we really are, small and alone and beautiful and fragile, we might finally understand. We might finally care. The pale blue dot isn't just an image. It's a mirror. It shows us what we are, not what we think we are, not what we wish we were, what we actually are. A tiny community of living beings on a small world in a vast cosmos with no one to rely on but each other. And that's enough. It has to be enough because it's all we have. This one world, this one chance, this pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.